All right. So we have been off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we have been. Global travels.
Yeah, global travels.
Lots to do.
Which leads me into something we talked about a couple weeks ago in the last episode.
I don't remember what that was, but we were never too busy for football.
We are never too busy for football.
Yeah.
But we're travelers.
Yes.
We travel. We go places. We see events. And now I was talking a little bit off camera about the shirt.
Yeah,
about how it ties into the episode.
Let's talk about this. You got ASU Sun Devils football. I don't follow college ball at all.
So this is actually part of the things one of our topics we were going to discuss today.
Okay, so let me think about this. The best live sports experience that we've ever been a part of.
Yeah, so I have a lot of answers. I've been to a lot of sporting events.
Yeah.
So how would you like to do this? Would you like this to just keep this at football? Or would you like to branch it out?
I think best sporting event overall has to be part of our podcast because it's like it doesn't have to be a football event. We can't talk specifically about best football event we've been to, but if there is a sporting experience outside of that doesn't involve soccer, then we can talk about it.
So I have a I have multiple answers. I have a football answer. I got a non-football answer.
So we'll go with the football answer because I do want to know about that, and then we'll talk about.
Well, that's where the shirt ties in. Actually, yeah. So this is a shirt from the Peach Bowl back in 2025, New Year's Day when Cam Scatterbo ran all over the Texas Longhorns.
Okay, gotcha.
It was actually a playoff game. It was probably the most exciting playoff game of that year's playoff. It wasn't a great playoff, but like it's exciting because it was like the first quarterfinal game.
Yeah.
On New Year's Day in Atlanta. It was just a great environment. Unfortunately, ASU lost. I'm not an ASU fan, but you know.
Right, you are a Cam Scatterbo fan.
I am a Cam Scatterbo fan. That's actually where I actually saw him live, and I was like, that man is going to make whatever team drafts him so happy. And I wasn't expecting it to be my New York Football Giants.
You weren't expecting it to be the New York Football Giants.
But I am so glad.
Did you have a
I actually did not.
Really?
So actually when we drafted him, like he wasn't on any of my boards at all. Not that I have great boards, but like he wasn't on my radar at all when it came to who the Giants were going to pick up, because I thought we're going to go Tyrone Tracy, might sign somebody out offseason and all that good stuff. We didn't end up doing that. Well, he did great, Devin Singletary, but we ended up picking up Cam Scatterbo as well. But
very good draft pick.
But it was great. That's where I saw Cam Scatterbo as a franchise guy. I thought he was going to decimate teams. I thought he was going to take the league by storm, and he kind of did.
He kind of did,
and he's going to set up for
a very unfortunate ACL tear from Satan's team, the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, right?
Absolutely. Right, it was in Satan's butthole.
We are not a fan
Lincoln Financial
of the Philadelphia Eagles. Neither of us like this team. You know?
But he's setting up for a great season, and we're going to talk about why he's set up for a great season after this. But before we get into that, it is your turn, my friend.
So, I don't know. I've never seen a future Giants player in the Peach Bowl. I do think that's like a really top-tier experience, but I'm going to talk about a game that you missed because you were globally traveling.
I was globally traveling.
Unfortunately, I was hoping he'd go with me, but he just couldn't do it. It's all right. He was working on important stuff. But I went to little game, the AFC Championship game in Denver. Now, this one was special because when I was in college, I was more of a casual ball fan.
Yeah.
And I missed, you're going to slap me, the last Brady Mahomes Bowl. Or Brady Manning Bowl in Denver.
Well, you were up here?
No, I was in college, but I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it at all?
I didn't watch it. I had stuff going on. And I had a feeling that Manning was going to win anyway.
Yeah, that was a team of destiny that year.
It was a destiny scripted team, and I knew that Peyton Manning was
the better quarterback
off. I don't think he was the better quarterback even that day.
No, not that day, that year, definitely not.
But hats off to the Sheriff. He was fantastic. Anyway, I beat myself up for missing that game because I wasn't there to support my quarterback in his time of need. And I told myself if there was ever another AFC Championship game and the Patriots play the Broncos, I was going to be there no matter what it took. And it turns out it didn't take a lot because I live in Colorado Springs.
It just took a little bit of Satan magic.
Despite all the hatred during the playoff run, from no one I know, of course, I was watching and I'm like, hey, there's a chance that I'm going to get to go to the AFC Championship and see the Patriots play. And I was texting my friend, back in North Carolina. He's 75 or something, but we're both Patriots fans. We're both from New England. I think he lived like in the Lakes region of New Hampshire. Used to have seasonal tickets. Fantastic dude. And I'm like, hey, there's a high probability. I was watching the seeding matchups that the Patriots are going to go play in Denver. They're going to play in Denver. So when Bo Nix, very unfortunate injury, by the way, broke his ankle, ticket prices plummeted. And I'm like, I can do this.
What was your get-in cost?
I got in for less than $400.
That's not for a playoff game.
That's
any
great.
Broncos game. That's not bad. We had I went to a Broncos game. I paid about that much. Me and my friend went. I don't want to talk about the results of that game.
Was that were the Giants playing?
Yep, that was the Giants game in Denver this year. I don't want to talk about that. That was great.
Started out
3.5
really good.
quarters.
So we'll talk about another game that started out really good. All right, and then but ticket prices after that plummeted, and Doug texted me, "Did you buy your ticket yet?" So I went and bought it, and less than $400, and I probably spent another $200 on just random stuff that I got on the way to the stadium, like a hat. I think it's in our podcast logo. I don't know if you put it in there, but that was pretty great. And I'm gonna give you this. The game was, if you were watching on TV and you weren't a fan of either team, probably pretty boring. But this was why it's the best experience. It was a live sporting experience. And the fourth quarter, snow started coming down. You have seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
I have
3 when Davy Jones is standing out in the rain.
Yeah, and he's playing the Oregon in the rain.
Playing the Oregon, and the snow started coming down midway through the fourth quarter, and I knew it was a sign from God that the Patriots were going to win the game because it worked against us. I guess it'd be 11 years ago. I think it was a Week 11 game. The Patriots were undefeated, and Gronk got hurt.
That was
the Patriots fumbled.
I think I know what you're talking about. That's the C.J. Anderson touchdown, correct?
I don't remember if it was the C.J.
Sunday night game in Denver. Yep, that's the C.J. Anderson.
Fumbled, I think, 2 punt returns, which never happens. And the Broncos, led by Brock Osweiler, ended up winning in overtime. But I remember the snow was coming down, and I knew this was a sign that Patriots were going to win the game. Now, for all you Patriots haters over there, I agree. I think the Broncos probably win that game if Bo Nix is starting a quarterback. The calculus just works out in Denver's favor that way. But I'm not upset that we got another Super Bowl appearance, which is forgettable.
I think it's very memorable. I think it's one of the most memorable Super Bowls of our generation.
But there's a woman from Massachusetts. She was there with her mom, and they were standing behind me. We were at the very top of the bleachers. She put a bet on the Patriots to win to make the Super Bowl, and like in week 3, right after the loss to the Steelers.
That's not a bad bet.
She won
$5,000.
So we were all celebrating together. It was
drinks
great.
were on her, right?
Oh yeah, drinks were on her. And I kind of got bored towards the end. I probably should have gone down to around the field because I could have seen the trophy presentation.
Yeah,
but I wasn't thinking through it. I was just too elated, and I was also freezing. So I walked back to my truck. It was like an hour and drove home, 3 hours drive. But it was just an unbelievable sporting experience. Never forget it.
So me and my friend try to go to at least like a Bronco game a year.
I usually try to do that too. We should go to one.
We never drive up there.
Yeah.
We always take the bus day.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a bus from like Colorado Springs up to Denver.
I always drive.
Yeah. Bus day. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to worry about any of it. Get you there well before kickoff so you can do the tailgate and stuff. It's a great time.
I mean, I believe you. I just like driving. But I've never had an experience at Denver where it took me 3 hours to drive home. It was because of the snowstorm. Oh, and to cap it off, I think I got passed by the Patriots. It was either the Patriots or the Broncos bus. I was on I-25 driving back, and there was a 3-cop police escort of 3 giant buses. And they were all heading towards the airport. So I'm not sure if it was the Patriots. Could have been the Broncos, but they all live locally, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, what a great.
I reckon it was probably the Patriots.
Yeah.
I don't know how you ended up if they're going down 25 because the airport's out 70. So I don't know how you ended up. I see why it took you 3 hours to get home. You went the wrong way.
Well, I mean, they were headed towards the direction of the airport. I mean, maybe it'd be closer though if they went up 70. I'm not entirely sure about that because I'm used to driving up the Springs. Anyway, that about summarizes it. But it was terrific. I had texts from all my family members. We're all from New England. It's like, hey, we know you're at the game. You know, we think the Patriots are going to win. You know, good luck. Enjoy the game. And I'm like, oh, it's great. And then another part of it is I was trying to hype up my session. So you saw some of the pictures, right? There were a ton of Patriots fans in the stands.
Was it just like in that section or was it all over the stadium?
It was all over the stadium. And they were being super quiet because this is an away game. But I'm like, I think we're a little bit too nervous here. We need to hype up. So I was going back and forth trying to hype up my whole section. I'm like, all right, defense is on the field. Offense can't move the ball. And I was like, we got to be loud. We got to give defense a reason to stand. And right before the Christian Gonzalez interception, like I had my people hyped and we were cheering. And a lot of the other stadium
Did you do the stomps?
I don't think we did the stomps.
So,
but
you know how like the Broncos fan do the stomps.
I'm going to be Tony Romo here. The conditions, guys. You could have done the stomp and literally slid off of the stadium because it was so slippery. I was using, sorry Broncos fans, I was using an orange towel to wipe my section so I didn't fall off. But the snow was just coming down and like it was really slippery. And the shoes I was in were like not giving me a lot of traction. So I'm like trying to wipe it off. It is what it is. But I didn't stop. I should have.
So I will say that's probably why the Patriots won is because you didn't do the stomp.
That's right.
So I'm not going to take responsibility. There's an evil man that's now the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. That is to blame.
An evil man.
Well, he's not an evil man, but he's
evil is a relative term. But we'll have a further discussion about why or he was evil or not. Continue.
Evil's a strong term. You're more of an idiot.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
But I did the stomp.
Yeah.
When the Giants were on defense. It was in the fourth quarter. The Giants were up by 20.
Yeah.
I decided to rile up the crowd a little bit when the Giants were on defense. Boy, did that come back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah, that was not one of your better sporting experiences. How many Giants games have you been to?
Only 2, actually, believe it or
Really?
not. And neither of them were at MetLife.
Really? So you went to the one in Denver. Where was the other one?
Atlanta.
Ooh.
Michael Penix's first start.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when I was living in Alabama, I was
Yeah.
actually I used to go to Atlanta all the time when I was in Alabama, mostly for soccer games. Which I gotta say, I know you're not a soccer fan, but if you ever get the opportunity to go down to Atlanta, go to Atlanta United game, especially if you can sit in the general admission seats.
Yeah.
That's because that's where the supporter section is. It is wild. You will get beer thrown on you. It is a great time.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
It is a great time. I love Atlanta United. I was actually, for a couple of years, part of their supporters group, one of their supporters group, Resurgence.
Right.
It's a great time.
Very nice.
Which leads me into my best non-football sporting event. I know you said no soccer. I'm going to break that because I had one soccer, one non-soccer. Because in my trip to England, because I was in England,
Yeah.
I was in like Edinburgh, and I wasn't able to watch the game because the bar I was at didn't have the game, thankfully.
Really?
Oh, I would have probably broken the bar. Probably would have broken the bar we went to.
Post Malone's bar. No, that's Nashville.
That's in Nashville. I don't remember the name of the bar we went to. It was one of the bars in Edinburgh. But great beer up there. There's like this peach ale. It's called a Jubal.
Yeah.
If you're ever out in England, find some of that. It's great beer.
Okay. So I do intend to go to England at some point, and my mission is to attend, I think it's the Farmer's Dog, Jeremy Clarkson's pub. That is my number one overseas destination, bar none.
So I was actually able to go to my number one overseas destination.
Oh, yeah? And where was that?
Anfield. Because I am a Liverpool FC fan.
All right. Well,
we're learning a little bit of lore.
We like Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool owned by the Red Sox, owned by the same people that own the Red Sox. So
cool.
been a Liverpool fan since like they bought Liverpool back in like 2012, which is about the time I started watching soccer anyway. They used to show the games on Nessun. So I ended up watching a couple of games out there. That was like the Luis Suarez era for those in the know. But actually I ended up going out to a game at Anfield. And Denver, you saw Denver. Denver's a loud place.
Denver is great. That is a great sporting atmosphere. And I hope if the ownership team is listening, don't make it covered. It has to be open air for those top tier, snow in your face. You're in the elements with your team. You can't replicate that experience.
Anfield makes Mile High feel like a library. Wow. That's just, I was sitting in the cop too. The cop is where like all like the fans sit. Like that's like the big loyal like Liverpool fans that have been going to the game since the 60s.
Yeah.
Sitting in the cop makes Mile High and any American sporting event really feel like a library. It is so intense. It is so loud. It's the perfect sporting event in my opinion.
Wow, it does sound incredible.
But the best non-soccer sporting event is also the biggest sporting event I've been to.
Okay.
Was the UConn Final Four in 2023 in Houston. So I ended up going to that. I love touring ballparks. I'm on a quest to go to all 30.
Nice.
One year, obviously 2023, I decide, hey, I'm going to go opening weekend. I'm going to go down to Dallas, and I'm going to go to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go see the Rangers down in Arlington. I'm going to go see
the Texas Rangers.
Love is a strong word, but
we love the Red Sox.
we love the Sox.
The Rangers are okay.
I love the Rangers blue uniforms.
Yeah.
I'm a huge sucker for anything powdered blue. So
So do you have a Chargers jersey?
No, I don't have a Chargers jersey. I actually got rid of a decent amount of jerseys. I actually got rid of the Rangers jersey I had because it was too small.
Well, we should talk about jerseys we've gotten rid of too. But continue.
we'll bring that up later in the podcast.
Yeah, or save it for episode 3.
No, we can bring that up later in the podcast.
Okay.
It's a relevant topic.
Yeah.
But went down there. Went to opening day in Arlington, which was the ballpark is weird, and the AC wasn't on, so it was hot as hell, and it was like 70 degrees in like late March in Texas, which was brutal. But ended up going down to Houston. Now I didn't plan it this way because I was going, I'm just gonna go see Rangers game, gonna see Astros game. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
The Final Four was in town that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And your UConn Huskies were in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
I actually did not, like I said, I did not plan it. So, like, when UConn won the Elite Eight game over Gonzaga, they beat the shit out of Gonzaga. They crushed Gonzaga. I bought tickets the second it got to the under 10 at the second half for this game. Because that was before I was expecting, like, Texas to win. So it was going to be a mostly Texas crowd. Texas ended up losing, and that ended up being a mistake.
That's fine.
I could have gotten, but I ended up sneaking in the game. So the first game, so when you go to the Final Four, you don't buy a ticket to one single game.
Yeah.
You buy a ticket to both games.
Yeah. How much did that run you?
That was like $300.
Not bad. Not bad.
But it was like the if you ever seen the Sting memes where Sting's sitting on the top of the stadium? Do you know who Sting is?
Yeah, I know who Sting is, but I haven't seen the meme where he's sitting on the top of the stadium.
So that was basically where I was. I was like on top of like the stadium. It was like NRG Stadium in Houston. So the first game I was sitting there, and then once the second game started, I ended up sneaking down into like the UConn fan section.
Oh, sick.
So like all the Twitter personalities I follow on Twitter for UConn fans, I'm now in a Discord with them, which is actually kind of fun.
That is pretty fantastic.
So kind of inner circle there, but not going to brag there. They were all sitting over there. I actually ended up finding it on Twitter and ended up sneaking down there, which security did not care at all. So that was sick. I ended up watching the game. It was in like the 100s. So still not a great view, but a much better view than sitting up in the rafters.
That is pretty
And that was probably the greatest greatest sporting experience. And UConn beat that shit out of Miami. So that
is great. Not a fan of Miami, although I am partial to New England because I don't know if we got into where we're from. I'm from New Hampshire. You're from Connecticut.
Yep, we did that. That was like our intro.
Yeah, you're just a little too far south to be a Patriots fan.
Technically, I'm closer to Gillette. I grew up closer to Gillette Stadium than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stewartstown, New Hampshire is about, it's got to be at least 120 miles north of the Massachusetts border. So you would be closer.
Yeah. So, because like where I'm from, Danielson, Connecticut is about an hour and a half west of Gillette.
So I don't get it. Anyway, I think we're getting on topic.
Yeah.
Because we opened it to other great sporting experiences, I have a couple. So I do like other sports other than football, which is hard to believe because it's the only one I actively follow.
Right.
But when I was in college, went to Oral Roberts University. Not a really well-known school, but Tulsa, Oklahoma. They have a big rivalry with University of Tulsa, and went to one of the basketball games. And it's fun because Oral Roberts University doesn't have a lot of team spirit. So when you get a big event like that with your number one rival, everybody turns out for it. So the Maybe Stadium was packed, and we were all there rooting for, of course, Oral Roberts University. And I don't remember a lot of the details about the game because this was close to 12 years ago now. But I do remember Oral Roberts University won, and it was like the loudest atmosphere I've ever heard at that school. They're not loud, but I'm like, it's really a Midwestern school. Like the place went crazy.
Blowjob Bob has made a couple of tournament runs. So
I haven't heard that name before, but that sounds like a story for another day. I'm sure. Is that what is that? Family Guy? Is that a Family Guy?
No, that's just the nickname for Oral Roberts. Blowjob Bob.
Blowjob Bob. I've never heard that. But nobody said anything about the University of Connecticut, so shut up. All right, our fans probably want to hear a lot about free agency.
Yes, it is free agency. We have a little bit of free agent fever in the air.
So, what do we want to? There's a couple big free agency developments that I think we should definitely discuss.
Let's start with the headline.
Yeah.
The bright lights of Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, let's go.
Let's talk about the Raiders a little bit.
Always wins, right?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the house is.
The Raiders never win, so even with Tom Brady, they can't.
But I think the Raiders won this offseason so far.
Expound.
So their free agency signings. If you've seen their free agency signings, they've got.
I haven't actually looked at the Raiders' free agency signings.
They've not
seen any of them.
They got my number one free agent. The guy I wanted the most.
Who's that?
Tyler Linderbaum, the center from the Ravens.
Okay.
I wanted him so badly, and then he went to the Raiders for a record contract, so he's a big winner.
All right. We got a good center.
And if you look up their defensive moves, they made a bunch of defensive moves. They got a couple of D-line guys, and they got Nakobe Dean, who is also a big winner, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But the biggest move that the Raiders made this offseason is the one that they didn't make.
And that is the failed Max Crosby trade.
The failed Max Crosby trade, which is going to affect the league tremendously.
Well, it's going to affect one guy up in Cincinnati particularly. But it will affect the league like in a monumental way. Max Crosby, I mean, he's got to be the best player on the Las Vegas Raiders.
If he stays in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Which I'm not sure they don't try and somebody else doesn't try to snap him up, which I'm a little upset about because the two teams that have been mentioned the most are the two teams I want him to go to the least.
So one's going to be the Patriots, right?
No. Cowboys and Eagles have been the two that have been mentioned the most. I don't want him anywhere close to my division.
Yeah. So Max Crosby on the Cowboys though. Is he worth the draft capital to Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones tries to find a lot of value. So he's like, well, just not sure.
Does he actually?
Team number one picks,
I feel that's a Jerry Jones-esque trade to me. But there's a different man who probably could be able to make this trade without giving up a single first round pick.
That is
Howie Roseman.
Howie Roseman?
Yeah, they were on ESPN last night. I was watching a little bit of SportsCenter before bed. And they were talking about the failed deal, and they're like, this is exactly Howie Roseman's wheelhouse. He goes, picks them up cheap. And that is a nightmare to me, Joan.
So I don't think the Vegas Raiders I don't think he's going to go to the Eagles because they're not going to let him go cheap. I mean, they know his value. The Ravens were willing to give 2 number 1 picks for him. Now, one was fairly high, number 14, but if you're trying to go get Max Crosby, you hire a great defensive coach, Jesse Minter, and you're trying to get Lamar Jackson a Super Bowl ring, probably within the next 2 to 3 years. It's that's why they were going in all in on Max Crosby. So I'm like, for a team like the Eagles, they've just been to a Super Bowl a couple years ago, just won one. I'm not sure that they're going to go all in. And I'm like, nah, the Ravens are not going to let him go for a bag of potato chips. This isn't the New England Patriots under Bill Belichick.
I also don't believe that I believe the Eagles are closer to a Super Bowl today than the Baltimore Ravens are.
Really?
I do. And I don't think the Eagles are going to go back to a Super Bowl anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
I certainly am praying they never go back to a Super Bowl anytime soon. I'd like to be an old man the next time they see a Super Bowl. If I'm even alive. I'd like to not be alive the next time they see a Super Bowl, but I don't want to be morbid.
I'm not an Eagles fan. I was rooting against them against the Kansas City Chiefs because I couldn't take a Chiefs 3-peat.
See, this is something we discussed, and you call me a Mahomes lover.
You love Mahomes.
You call me Mahomes lover. I like Mahomes. I like Mahomes, and every time Mahomes has been in a Super Bowl, he's been the lesser of 2 evils. He's not played the Super Bowl where he's not the lesser of 2 evils. The 49. I don't like
Jimmy
the 49ers.
Garoppolo is the lesser.
Jimmy Garoppolo himself. I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo, but I do hate the San Francisco 49ers. That's a generational hatred.
Okay. Sure.
That's a Giants 49ers rivalry spans back generations.
Also, their rivalry though you weren't even born for.
I wasn't.
I could hate
the latest chapter with the inferior Harbaugh at the helm, Jim Harbaugh, when the New York Football Giants went into San Francisco, got a little fumble-rooski, and walked out with an overtime win, which is a very underrated NFC Championship game, and makes up for the absolute crime that was the 2002 wildcard round, in which the Giants went into San Francisco and got robbed of a victory by the referees. It was. If you go back and you look at the last play, and you tell me that was not pass interference.
So future podcast topic. We got to go back in time and watch the game that enrages us most, and I've already got one picked out.
I'm gonna have to.
We'll have a regular season, postseason, and Super Bowl.
I'm gonna have to,
and we'll break each.
I think we're gonna have the same Super Bowl.
We might. Anyway, let's keep going with free agency news, right?
So free agency news, back on topic with the Ravens. We got a little bit of sidetracked here. The Ravens themselves got a decent consolation prize. And I'm not sure that they didn't exactly rig the claw machine to get it.
Yeah.
And Trey Hendrickson.
That was a good pickup.
That smells a little fishy. Smells a little fishy that you trade for Max Crosby, you renege on the deal.
Yeah.
And then not even 12 hours later, Trey Hendrickson's announced, which I heard the rumors.
Honestly.
I heard the rumors about an hour after the renege of the Crosby trade that he was gonna go to Baltimore. But officially, I woke up this morning and I saw it. I'm like, interesting.
That was a very interesting move. I'm not gonna lie. The Ravens have had, I think, the most noise free agency,
and it's not been good noise.
No, it hasn't. I mean,
it's not been good noise.
Great pickup. But I'm just not a big fan of teams that renege on trade deals.
Do you believe that Trey Hendrickson's better than Max Crosby? Because I don't.
I don't think so. No. I mean, Max Crosby is one of the only players we talk about on the Raiders. I think he's superb. But Trey Hendrickson, I mean, he's a good player, good at his position, but
they're trying to cover it up, which I mean. I get it. He did recently get a surgery, but they're trying to cover up because he failed his physical. I'm like, he got a surgery.
Yeah.
It's public news.
Yeah. I'm like, so he failed his physical.
And he's on time. And he's on time for his recovery. So he's going to be ready by the regular season. The whole thing stinks to me.
Uh-huh.
But
not a big Ravens fan.
There
are a couple matchups to talk about, but
you know what doesn't stink? Is what the Ravens' former coach, was able to get done. It's not
The
perfect.
Ravens' former coach, John Harbaugh, who now coaches the New York Giants.
There's particularly one move. He got a couple of former Ravens, but there's one move in particular that I love, and I would have loved if Linderbaum was in on this move.
Okay.
Pat Ricard. We're giving some fullbacks love, folks.
I do like good fullbacks.
Pat Ricard got picked up by the Giants. And I think that is the best move. Actually, that's the second best move. It's the best move by a team, but the best move was by a player, and that was Nakobe Dean, who saw the winds of change coming and realized he needed to get out of Philly as fast as he could because Pat Ricard and Cam Scatteraboo coming down the gap is going to hurt someone.
Absolutely.
It's going to hurt someone.
That was a great pickup. So I know you hate the New England Patriots, but James Devlin in the 2018 Super Bowl then. I don't think the Patriots win that Super Bowl without James Devlin. So a good fullback, kind of a disappearing position, but very, very effective in the right offensive scheme. I think John Harbaugh put it to good use.
Well, that also goes back to the 2011 Super Bowl run by the Giants with Henry Hanowski, who is by trade a fullback.
Yeah.
They really didn't use him as a fullback, a traditional fullback. They had him as like a tight end too.
Yeah.
But he is a fullback, and he was a very big part of that 2011 Giants team.
Yeah. So fullbacks are great. All right. As a Giants fan, how are you going to grade the Giants' free agency acquisitions? Let's say you're the manager. You're calling your buddy John Harbaugh. What's he grading you? What are you grading the Giants?
I'm a harsh critic.
Yeah.
I'm a harsh critic. I'm going to give the Giants a B- because we didn't pick up the offensive line guys that we needed. We re-signed Evan Neal, which was a very weird move. We got Isaiah Likely. We got Pat Ricard. We got a kicker. We didn't do bad, but I think there's room for improvement. So overall offseason grade right now, B-. And I think with a good draft, it can get up to a B+.
Solid. But you still get the draft. So plenty of time to pick up some good offensive line pieces.
But I definitely know who the Giants are going to be drafting.
Yeah,
I do.
All right. We'll do an episode on the draft, but I want to
closer to the draft, yeah.
I want to keep moving on. Where do we think A.J. Brown is going? Because I don't think he's staying with the Eagles.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. I don't want
A.J. Brown is going to the New England Patriots.
I'm going to concur with that. I don't see there's a couple other teams he can go to, but I think the most likely option right now and the team that needs him the most is the Patriots. Yet they picked up Romeo Doubs.
I don't know if we need him the most. We just signed Romeo Doubs. We got Keyshawn Boutte. We've got Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper at tight end, and of course Mac Hollins. So I think the wide receivers core is fairly solid. Under
You
Josh
don't
McDaniels,
have a one though.
Okay, so Brady had Gronk for 10 years ish, but under that you have Wes Welker, who is great slot receiver, but in my mind not a true number one receiver. And apart from the 2018 season, Julian Edelman wasn't really.
Here we go with the Julian Edelman disrespect again.
With Julian Edelman work in another scheme as well as he did with the New England Patriots?
Maybe not as well as the Patriots, but I think he definitely works in the Tampa Bay scheme because you had a Julian Edelman in the Tampa Bay scheme. I don't remember his name, but
okay, that really Chris Godwin.
No, he was the white guy.
The white guy. What year are we talking about? Because I'm not
first 2 years of I'm forgetting.
Oh, Scotty Miller.
Scotty Miller, yeah.
Scotty Miller was Julian Edelman as fast as Scotty Miller though? Scotty Miller could go.
Maybe not that dude. Maybe not that year, but yeah, at his peak, yeah.
Okay. Julian Edelman, though, all-time great Patriot, all-time great postseason talent. Julian Edelman's pretty fantastic. I do have a jersey. I'll wear that next time. All right. Tampa Bay, Mike Evans.
Oh, boy.
Mike Evans leaves the Bucs, and we've had a lot of interesting discussions on this. So I'm gonna admit, as a Patriots fan, I bandwagoned with the Bucs for quite a bit. While the Patriots were sorting themselves out.
Shame.
And I didn't watch a ton of Bucs games in 2023. I watched a few at the end of 2024, but I spent a lot of time watching the Bucs and the Patriots this year. So I went back and forth a little bit. But Mike Evans leading the Bucs, all-time, probably, I would say he's got to be a top 3 all-time greatest Buccaneer. Do you say?
Yeah,
I mean, he's up there with
I think he's the greatest.
Selman, Derek Brooks, a couple of others.
I think he is the best,
certainly best offensive player.
Yes.
So best offensive player of all time, probably a top 5 Buck.
Absolutely.
Easily. So Mike Evans won 2 years ago. The Buccaneers gave him a 2-year, $50 million contract. And he says he wants to retire a Buck. And that was a big reason he turned down bigger contracts so he could stay. Buccaneers went back to the playoffs, lost first round.
Yep.
And then this year, Mike Evans gets hurt twice, misses most of the season. And he comes back, but at that point, the Buccaneers have spiraled, right? And it culminates in a really particular play that we keep talking about. So the 328 curse that Gisele Bündchen put on the Atlanta Falcons during Super Bowl 51 is broken. Because on 3rd and 28, the defense can easily get the offense to either punt or get off the field, right? And they give up 3 and 28, and then 4 and 14.
Well, they wouldn't have punted.
4 and 14. But Mike Evans, infuriated on the sideline, slams his helmet down, and you can hear him going back to the locker room. It was 3rd and 28. So something happened last season to just push Mike Evans over the edge. And if you look at his social media, he hasn't posted anything. Thanks for the Buccaneers with the time and all that. And I'm like, that just seems, even Tom Brady was frustrated, in the end of New England, but put out a really classy post.
We could talk about the frustrations Tom Brady has had. We'll
table There's not many. The 2 losses to the New York Giants.
Currently at the Patriots franchise. Oh, we didn't get to talk about that a little.
That's true. We got to talk about that later.
Right.
Mike Evans leaves the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who may or may not have offered him more money than the 49ers. Now, the 49ers gave him a 3-year, $60 million deal. I don't know how much of that money is guaranteed to you.
I do not.
But, I mean...
I don't believe in numbers.
Yeah, that's true. You're not an accountant. But Mike Evans, that's a decent contract. I don't think it's outstanding. My take is he doesn't actually play beyond year 2 of that. Because Mike Evans has dealt with a number of injuries and missed most of the last season. He missed 4 games season before that. Buccaneers lost all those games, by the way. And if you're Mike Evans, you're looking at a couple of things. Can I win another Super Bowl before I retire? Because he might be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's going to get in. Maybe not first round, but first ballot. But he'll get in. But he's got 6 playoff wins. Does that sound right? He's got
because it's the 4 and the
4, 5, 6. Yeah. So he's getting in. He's got 11 straight 1,000-yard
season. Tied with Jerry Rice.
Tied. So for Mike Evans, he's not trying to save his career or anything like that. The Bucs were really happy with him. But I think Mike Evans got frustrated with the coaching staff in Tampa, who is headed by Todd Bowles, a defensive guy. But when you're a defensive coach, there's no excuse for your team choking on not just 3 and 28, but 4 and 14. Now, we were talking about this earlier, because we tagged up, and had a meeting. And Josh Grizzard calls a pass play. I'm assuming it was Josh Grizzard. The
not one. Two pass plays.
When you've got Bucky Irving in the backfield, and even behind an injured offensive line, it's like run the ball, pick up the first down, game's over. Inexplicably calls 2 pass plays, and Baker Mayfield to Emeka Buga. I can't remember if he dropped it or the pass was off. I think it was a little behind him. But you can't have a defensive collapse like that. And I think that was the final straw with Mike Evans. On top of the frustration dealing with the other injuries, which are not the Buccaneers' fault. That happens, But Mike Evans goes to the 49ers, who have a great offensive coach, and they've been to a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, who is, I think, a good quarterback. I wouldn't say excellent, but I think he's really good.
I think he's middle of the road, but like with the 49ers offensive scheme, that's
with Kyle Shanahan, he's great. And I think that's really all that matters. So Mike Evans is going to go to the most injury-prone team in the league, where Christian McCaffrey was the only guy that didn't get injured last year.
That's why the 49ers were able to go as far as they did.
I want to know if Kyle Shanahan sold his soul for one healthy season with C-Mac, and because George Kittle was injured in the Eagles game.
Yep.
Brock Purdy was out turf toe for about a season.
For about a month, and then didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, Mac Jones did a great job.
Mac Jones, who I still think is going to
do our predictions for Mac Jones. But I just don't know how much of an impact, like, at this stage of his career, and I hope the 49ers don't go win a Super Bowl. I'm not a 49ers guy. Like, I just don't see him somehow taking the 49ers over the top.
I don't, but I think he's going to be the wide receiver one as of right now.
For sure.
In that locker room.
And it should be, if he can stay healthy.
And that's where the problem lies, is because San Francisco is notoriously not a healthy team.
Not healthy. So if Mike Evans magically stays healthy all year, he's getting 1,000 yards. But in that division, you got to play the Seahawks twice a year. You got to play the Rams, and the Rams are going to come up big in my future predictions, by the way. And the Cardinals are kind of a mess. But what division is the NFC West playing this year?
Oh, I have to figure that out. Hold on.
Because they played the NFC South last year.
I think they're playing us.
The NFC East?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got at least some solid matchups. You've got 2 against the Eagles.
Right, hold on.
No, game against the Eagles, game against the Cowboys. I think the Giants are going to be good. So I'm going to say at least 3 of those 4 matchups are going to be solid.
I'm trying to confirm if it's actually the NFC East. I'm not quite sure.
You don't have to really worry about that, but the 49ers don't exactly have a cakewalk to a divisional titles like the Buccaneers do, because they play at the NFC South. So I think it's actually going to be harder for Mike Evans to go to a Super Bowl with the 49ers, or at least to the playoffs with the 49ers, than it is with the Buccaneers.
I disagree.
You think it's going to be easier for Mike Evans to go to the 49ers, the most injury-prone team in the league, against the best division in the football, by far?
Because there's one thing that Mike Evans took into consideration that you did not.
Kyle Shanahan.
The ship is sinking.
The Buccaneer ship is sinking.
The Buccaneer ship is sinking.
We will talk about this.
I've been waiting about 10 minutes.
Up until now, the Buccaneers have definitely been the easier path. Would you agree?
Yes, but they have not been the better team.
Agreed.
I think since Brady retired, they have not. Even before Brady retired, they weren't.
The last season was not great. I would say if they had a healthier team in 2023, they probably would have won more games. It's hard to see them beating the Lions in that divisional matchup, but 2023 doesn't get talked about a lot. Towards the end, when the team did get healthy, they were fantastic. Baker Mayfield, I think, is the only quarterback to go to Lambeau Field and have a perfect passer rating. And then they blew the Eagles out, which I know you were happy about.
I was all right with that. I was rooting for the Buccaneers in that game, which you know me, and you know my thoughts on the city of Tampa when it comes to sports. Not very often I get to do that.
That's right. But if they could have kept Liam Cohen at offensive coordinator, letting him walk away was a big mistake in terms of the overall direction of the franchise. I can see Mike Evans' frustration because you go from winning a Super Bowl with Brady, you go to the divisional round the next year. And then even 2 years after that with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Baker Mayfield's solid. He's not Brady, but solid. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good quarterback for that situation.
Solid. But too reliant on his defensive coordinator. Mike Evans, he's late in his career. He's getting impatient. And I don't think he made necessarily the wrong decision for him. But I don't know if Mike Evans is going to get the results he wants out of that move.
I think you're looking at it that Mike Evans has animosity towards the Buccaneers. And I don't think that's necessarily true. Frustrations? Maybe. I don't think he's really, what's the word I'm looking for? Antagonistic towards the Buccaneers.
I don't think antagonistic would be the right word.
I think he simply saw that the ship was going down, and he's like, you know what? Tampa's great. We love Tampa. We're raising our kids here and all that good stuff.
I think the ship is going down too, but probably not for the same reasons you do. And I'm gonna put the target on one guy that you absolutely love. Maybe not love, but you have a high degree of respect for. Great defensive coordinator. Limited head coach Todd Bowles.
I think we do have the target on the same back here. I do think that this will be Todd Bowles' last season in Tampa.
I think it's Todd Bowles' last season in Tampa, and I think it might be Baker's as well. And here's why. Baker had 2 really good seasons under 2 really good defensive coordinators that got promoted to head coaches. Last season, he regressed, but I'm not going to fault him entirely.
Because he was also injured at points
Baker
last year.
Mayfield had a number of injuries.
Not necessarily injured, but
So the
definitely
game,
hurt.
I think it was the game against the Texans, actually. He went down, he was hurt, and then got back up to shit talk somebody, which was awesome. And that became a story. But
Because
he
it was
wasn't able to scramble for months after that.
I think that was when he was down and they thought he was going to be out for a couple weeks, and he played the next game.
Yeah, and then he had the shoulder injury, which, I mean, it wasn't his throwing shoulder, but that definitely is going to impact your play. You know? So I'm not going to fault Baker Mayfield for last season. It is what it is. But Josh Gazar was not the guy. Sometimes you promote the guy from within, which would lead us into another good discussion. And it doesn't always work. You don't get the results that you think you would. So I like Zach Robinson, right? Is their new offensive coordinator, the guy from the Falcons?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that's solid. I don't think it's great. But in terms of the Buccaneer, you're probably not going to do awful with that. However, because Todd Bowles has gone 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, and 8-9, so big regression without a good offensive coordinator, and 3-28, which I think got transferred to the Buccaneers, I think Todd Bowles has to go to an NFC championship game or he gets fired. I think that the Glazer family does a Pagula. He's gone. And Sean McDermott was
I think that's
better results than Todd Bowles.
I think that's a silly goal.
Silly goal.
That's a silly goal. Because you might as well fire him right now if you think that this is an NFC championship team.
I don't think they're an NFC championship game.
You might as well fire him right now if you think this is an NFC championship
So
team.
what does success look like for the Buccaneers?
What does success look like? Maybe winning a playoff game.
Okay, so you say they probably win a home wild card game and they have a good showing in the divisional round.
Yeah, that's a successful season. Making it to the division round. Even getting blown out by, let's say, the Rams.
All right,
that's fine.
So that's a fair take, although I do think that would be a hard pill to swallow for the Buccaneers if they get blown out by a Ram, a team that has, for the most part, dominated them in the playoffs and the regular season. Is that enough to kind of convince the Glazers to keep them through 2028? I'd say yes. But it's not – we'd have to look at who's available next offseason for the Buccaneers. Wild card wouldn't be bad. But I think a team with the roster the Buccaneers have could probably do better with a better offensive-minded head coach.
I don't disagree. But you're also looking at the Buccaneers through the lens of a Boston sports fan and not a Tampa sports fan.
Tampa's fan. Okay.
Where the expectations are a little bit different.
Todd Bowles, historically speaking, the Buccaneers have the losingest record in all of sports. I think still.
I don't think all of sports. I don't think they have the worst record.
They were when Tom Brady came. So they've been pretty good since 2020. And Brady had a huge role in that. So did Gronk.
I think the late 90s Buccaneers kept them out of the bottom. But they're historically not a great. Actually, I don't think they're the worst team overall in their division. I think actually they might be the best team historically in their division.
Well, they've got 2 Super Bowl wins. The Saints have 1, And
But
then
even
the
like
teams
even
have
take away
won.
those 2 Super Bowl
They're
wins,
pretty
like the Saints have been historically a garbage team.
Yes.
The Falcons have also been historically a garbage
Yeah, and
team.
I'm very okay with that, by the way.
And the Panthers, I still
Are
think they have
also
not
straight
had
garbage.
multiple seasons in a row where they've had above 500 record.
They had, I think you're right about that. No, I think they had 2 when Cam Newton was on.
No,
Because they
won 3 straight division titles and only had 1 winning record.
They had one of those was a losing record, and then I think the next 2 were winning.
2 of them
went 15-1. We can look it up. I'm pretty sure they went 15-1, and I think they went 10-6 the next season because my brother-in-law went to the playoff game they had against the Saints, but they lost. But the rest of that division is not great. Sean Payton's Saints are long gone. So the Buccaneers, but if they don't go win a playoff game and they don't win division, Todd Bowles is gone, right?
I think that they make the playoffs.
So
I think he's fine.
So, but they're probably going to have to win that division.
Absolutely, they're going to have to win that division
Okay.
to make playoffs. It wins the division next year. Cool as ice.
If they win the division and lose the 49ers in the wild card with Mike Evans,
It depends on how good their regular season is.
I
Now,
don't think that-
if they're a 2 seed playing a 7 seed 49ers that are limping into the playoffs and lose to that team, maybe we're having a different conversation. Right. But if they're where they have been and where the NFC South the champions have been over the last, since the creation of the NFC South, outside of the years where the Saints were really good, the Brady Buccaneers, and a couple of the years of the Ryan Falcons. If the Buccaneers are in that 4 seed and they're facing the best 5 seed, which very well could be the 49ers, and the 49ers, whoever the 5 seed is in the NFC, they're going to be a better team than the Buccaneers. I firmly believe. I don't believe the Buccaneers are a top 4 team in the NFC. I don't know if they're a top 6 team in the NFC.
The Buccaneers probably, I mean, they certainly weren't last year, although they started out hot. But I would say I would argue that since Brady came, they were a top 6 team every single year, even when they were bad. Maybe top 8.
Like, I think heading into this year, I'm not sure if you can go into the season and say definitively that the Buccaneers are a top 5 team in the NFC.
No.
I don't think you can say that. And I don't think it's realistic to have expectations of being a top 5 NFC team when you're not a top 5 NFC team. And I think that the judgment, if you're going to get rid of Todd Bowles, you have to also clean out the front office because it's not a Todd Bowles.
So I want to talk about this. So the Glazer family was rated either 30 or 31 out of 32 owners in the NFL.
That makes sense. The Glazers,
and that includes Woody Johnson of the Jets,
who was 32nd.
Okay, he's got to be right. And Mark Davis of the Las Vegas Raiders. Whoever owns the Cardinals, I don't know who that is. Jerry Jones.
Well, Jerry Jones is
the Miami
is near the
Dolphins
top
owner, the Rudy family,
the Ross family, Stephen Ross.
Yeah, who owns the Giants?
The Morris, who are they're not bad owners. They're just they got their hands in the chili a little bit. I also don't want to talk about Giants ownership right now.
Okay, but there's some bad ownership out there, and the Glazers somehow ranked 31. And I'm like, so who's propping the team up? General management. Jason Light, who brought in Tom Brady. Jason Light, who brought in Gronk. And AB, Jason Light, who drafted Mike Evans. Jason Light. So Jason Light is not the problem in the Buccaneers front.
No, I don't disagree that he's not the problem, but I also think that if you're going to have these delusions of grandeur, because that's what these are. These are delusions of grandeur. You need to clean house. I think Todd Bowles and Light are tied at the hip. I think they are. I don't think you can say, Todd Bowles, you're a disappointment. Get off my team without getting rid of the front office. Because what has the front office done in the last 5 years to improve the Buccaneers and make them a top 5 team in the NFC?
In terms of improving them over the Brady Super Bowl run, which was a little bit an outlier overall. They haven't had many big drop-offs. They brought in Bucky Irving, who was excellent running back 2024. although that may be a little bit more because of Liam Cohen. Brought in Baker Mayfield in free agency, who's been solid option quarterback.
Who is treaded water.
Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, who is in the Rookie of the Year discussion. So there's definitely a lot of good pieces there.
I don't think there's been
brought in
bad moves, right? There's not been bad moves. I'm not saying there has been bad moves, but you're sitting here and saying that you need these prop up these expectations, and you're naming a whole bunch of draft picks in terms of this is what he's been doing to keep the Buccaneers relevant. And outside of the Baker Mayfield, that was a great signing to keep the Buccaneers head above water because they clearly did not have a succession plan for Tom Brady.
No, not at all. But they did go in all in on the 2 Brady seasons. And
yes.
The third one was kind of like, well, it was a gift, but Brady was not himself. Like he wasn't falling off a cliff, but he was also like not in the right mindset for a really successful season.
So I think what they've been able to do has been very impressive.
Yeah.
Not completely falling off a cliff after the end of the Brady era. There are some teams that did fall off a cliff after the Brady era. We're not going to name names.
It's the New England Patriots.
And that took a little bit for them to fall off the cliff.
So they were 7-9 with Cam Newton. Now this was not prime Cam Newton.
No, this was CT.
They had 10-7 and then got blown out by Buffalo, which shouldn't have happened considering the grief Sean McDermott gets as a head coach, or at least the grief he got from the Pagula family. And then they went 8-9, and there were a lot of mistakes that were chalked up to bad coaching. Mac Jones didn't play well, but he had a guy that coached the New York Giants for a few years, the failed Belichick coaching tree. And, of course, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge. This is escaping me. And then the cliff happened.
So
the Buccaneers haven't come anywhere near that. Actually, they've held up pretty well.
And I think that's where – so if you're going to keep the Buccaneers, if you think the Buccaneers are going to have another season, which they've had over the last 5 years, roughly 8-9, maybe 10-7, maybe 9-8, and competing for a division title, winning a division title even, I don't think that's not good enough. It is very much good enough. With the team that has been built, I think you are prolonging a chapter that ended 5 years ago.
Fair take. So for the Buccaneers, they win division, make the playoffs, but even if they don't win the wild card, Todd Bowles stays. That's what you're saying?
I think so.
And if they go 8-9 and lose division on a tiebreaker, because we're predicting the whole division goes 8-9, right?
Yeah, I am predicting the whole division goes 8-9.
That would be hilarious. Excuse me. So the whole division goes 8-9. The Buccaneers either win that division, go to the playoffs and lose, or they lose that division and Todd Bowles gets fired. That's a very fine line, and actually probably shouldn't come down to that.
Actually, I think it's a toss-up if he gets fired if they go 8-9.
Really?
I think it's a toss-up.
So 2 losing 8-9 seasons, and they keep him.
Really? I think so, because remember, you tied for the division in both of those seasons.
That is true. Well, we won the first one outright. We did tie, but then we tied.
I'm talking about this year.
Yeah, we tied and lost it.
So you have either won the division, tied for the division, or tied for the division 3 years in a row going 8-9.
All right. So is this a reason the Glazer family is ranked one of the lowest ownership teams in the NFL? Because they're willing to go 8-9 and win division, and they call that success. It's not as bad as they could be. I'm not saying that.
I think it's their relationship with the players and the front office personnel. That's the reason why they're ranked so low. I don't think it's their expectation. I think they have very reasonable expectations.
They're also rated very low on treatment of families.
Yeah, I think their actual attitude towards personnel is what's making them so low. I think their management expectations, they're very reasonable.
They're pretty reasonable.
You can win the division 8-9. This is the Buccaneers. Good job.
So I don't think Todd Bowles should have been fired last season I think defense could have been better. But after you win division 3 times, win a playoff game, I don't think that the Glazers should have fired him. But if they miss the playoffs again and, they're looking at reasons, I think you got to consider Todd Bowles. He's on the hot seat. It's maybe you shouldn't be coaching for your job, but there's not a lot of reason you shouldn't do well in that division. and they should have won.
I don't disagree with you. They should have won the division.
And the one play I want to chalk that up to is 3rd and 28.
I don't think that's the whole reason. Because if you go in and you win in Carolina, the game which you beat Carolina week 18. So that was a win. You go in and win Carolina. All done.
They doesn't beat Carolina the last week, and then the Falcons beat the Saints. So the Saints couldn't help us out when we needed them most. All right, that's enough about Mike Evans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Should we move on to adjusted playoff predictions?
I think this discussion blends right nicely into
okay, let's go into
adjusted playoff predictions. I am not going to change anything in the NFC South. We're gonna start in the NFC South.
Okay, so I think we said the Saints were going to win.
I did say that the Saints were going to win their tiebreaker, 8-9.
Yep, the Buccaneers are going to lose the tiebreaker, 8-9, and that's when I predict Todd Bowles get fired. So we're not changing anything in the NFC South. I think the Falcons are going to go into a full rebuild. They've acquired no one, and they let go.
Hold on. They've acquired
Bijan Robinson,
the best free agent quarterback this year.
That was his name.
Oh, Tua Tagovailoa is a Atlanta Falcon. So put some respect on the Alabama quarterback that was in Atlanta and broke the hearts of millions of Georgia Bulldog fans in the national championship game back in 2017.
So we're saying Tua Tagovailoa goes to the Falcons as does what? Gets concussed week 1?
Does well enough, blacked out to get the Falcons to 8-9.
Oh, man. I don't think it can happen. I'm actually going to adjust my playoff predictions. The Saints and the Buccaneers have a divisional tiebreaker. The Buccaneers lose, but the Falcons might actually be the worst team in that division.
You know who's had a sneaky good offseason?
Who?
A team that you did not mention.
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers have had a sneaky good offseason.
I don't keep track of the Carolina Panthers. What have they done?
They've signed a couple of good linebackers. Mostly defensive moves. A lot of the good moves this offseason has been defensive moves.
Well, offense has kind of peaked, I think, throughout the league. You can't really get any better. So you got to shore up your defense like the Kansas City Chiefs did. So everybody's looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's like, well, what did the Chiefs do after they won their Super Bowl? Oh, they went and traded Tyreek Hill and got picks, and then they went to 2. So everybody's kind of copying that model. But I think the problem with the Carolina Panthers is the same problem the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have. It's coaching. I think Dave Canales, great offensive coach, offensive coordinator. Maybe not like an elite head coach. Can he win you a divisional title going 8-9? Sure. Would Bryce Young still be starting quarterback without him? Absolutely not. However, I don't look at him and say, oh, he's a John Harbaugh. He's a Mike Vrabel. He's a Mike McDonald. He's like a mid-level coach, and there's a reason he's still in the NFC South. He's not bad. No, I can win games with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm like, the Carolina Panthers now have, I think, like one of the hardest schedules in the NFL.
I think the Panthers are going to be still knocking on the door.
I think they peaked. They go 8-9. So we have 3 8-9 teams. Falcons are going to go 4-13.
If we're not going to do the full 8-9, which I am fully committed to the 8-9 division,
somebody's going to lose, even in that division.
I think the top 2 candidates, the 2 strongest teams in that division, are the Saints and the Panthers.
Saints and the Panthers are the 2 strongest.
I think the Buccaneers are a little step below.
Yeah, and you're chalking that up to
the loss of Mike Evans.
Okay, so we're saying they've lost
uncertainty on the offensive play calling.
Yeah,
I think that
Zach Robinson will be an improvement,
and maybe the defense takes a step back.
Defense? Ooh, so I think what's his name? I think Levante David is retiring, although I haven't heard anything official.
I think he did retire.
Okay, but regardless, it's time. They signed a guy that played for the Lions, though, right? I can't remember his name.
Who did they?
Yeah, let me go look it up.
Is it Elazone?
Yes, that guy.
They signed Elazone. Okay.
Yeah, so
he was on the Giants short list.
Good pickup. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good because he is up there in age as well.
But does he fix the pass rush problem?
I don't know.
So let's say he does. What does that leave you minus? Is a big edge rusher, which is another huge problem. Now, Buccaneers did make another great coaching hire in the offseason. They hired Pittsburgh's special teams coordinator. So, did you watch the Buffalo Tampa Bay game?
Yes, I think I did. I don't remember.
Okay, so what was the biggest problem in that game?
Special teams.
Yes. So if you can fix, I mean, they win that game if they just fix special teams and they don't allow a 60-yard punt return every time they punt the ball. Because they put up 33 points. They were good on offense. But I'm like, special teams cost them the game, unquestionably. Josh Allen's playing was not the best either. So if you get a little better on special teams and a little better on offense and defense doesn't regress anymore, you can go 9-8 and win that division without Mike Evans, and Todd Bowles still has a job. But they have to, at a minimum, win the division. And it probably wouldn't take more than about 9-8 or 10-7 to do that. But I don't see a ton of improvement on the other teams.
If I wasn't committed to the 8-9 division,
you are.
If I wasn't committed, let's play an alternate reality where I'm not committed to the 8-9 division. I think that the Buccaneers go 6-11.
6-11. Okay. So it's either 8-9 or 6-11.
Which would be enough to get Todd Bowles fired.
Deservedly so.
And deservedly so.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the NFC East.
NFC East.
Predictions.
Not a lot of teams had a good day today in terms of the NFC East. The Cowboys made a couple of moves, clear out some space on the defensive line. The Eagles didn't have a great offseason.
No, they did
not.
I think
that they didn't have as bad of an offseason we were predicting in the last episode. They were able to hold on to that offensive line, but I think the violins are starting to play a little bit.
I could hear Celine Dion singing in the background.
Maybe. I don't want to say the ship is sinking in Philadelphia.
The ship is taking on water.
But I do think that there is an iceberg up ahead for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that iceberg is in the form
of
a giant, big, blue wrecking crew.
I agree.
Because the Giants' offense, the way God intended the Giants' offense to be, which is ground and pound until there's nothing left, is back.
All right. So, predictions for the division.
I think we're having a big blue revival.
Big blue revival. What do the Giants? How many games do the Giants win?
I still think it's going to be 11-6, 10-7, maybe at best.
Really, that's kind of low. You're not going all in on John Harbaugh, Cam Scannabo.
No, because I still like I said, B-. I don't think it was a perfect offseason. I don't think this team is a year away from Super Bowl.
No, not a year away from the Super Bowl. But so Brian Dable came in 2022, right?
Yes.
And took, what's his name? The guy you hate so much. Daniel Dimes. Daniel Jones. Indiana Jones. Oh, and this is the
false
news. Who
prophet.
Got a $100 million contract.
The dumbest contract. And we will get to that division here in a second because I think there was a lot of dumb moves out of that division. Dumbest move of the entire offseason was signing Daniel Jones, who may not play another down of football. If they're giving him that much money, he probably will. But should not play another down of football. They did not have
the Ravens physician examine him.
They should have had the Ravens physician. They could have gotten him for $10. He's called Danny Dimes because he's worth about 10 cents.
So word on the street is that Joe Burrow was the physician that examined Max Crosby.
Hey, it cost him his best defensive player, unfortunately. But back to the NFC East. I do think the Giants are a year away from being a true Super Bowl contender.
True Super Bowl contender, yes. But the Giants went 11-6, 2022. Right?
Actually, no. They went 9-7-1.
Okay, because they won like 6 straight.
Yep, and then they had a bad November, December, where they were able to squeak out a tie against the Commanders, which got them into the playoffs.
But then they went on the road and won a playoff game against a failing Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings.
And a Minnesota Vikings team that had no business being as good as their record was.
Yeah. The Vikings, that's an interesting story.
But my greatest bet I've ever won was involving that team. That 22 Vikings
team. Yeah, it was
team.
a jersey bet, right?
No, it wasn't a jersey bet. It was just regular old, I put a $5 down. And now I put this in midway through the first quarter when the Colts took a 21-0 lead against the Vikings.
Yeah.
Put down a 5, like, hey, Vikings are going to win this game. Ended up getting down to 30, up to like 33-0.
Wow.
I didn't rescind my bet. They gave me an opportunity to back out. I'm like, nope. I ended up winning the bet.
That's pretty awesome. That's a great story. But I'm going to say a team I'm not a fan of, as you know. The New York Giants actually do one better than Brian Dable did. They win division. They go 12-5 because they have a light schedule. They have excellent NFL coach, good quarterback. They've got the pieces right. The Giants go 12-5, the best season in well over a decade, and they win division, host a home playoff game, and I'm going to say that game is against. Ooh, we haven't gotten into wild card. I don't know who it's going to be against. Now,
We'll spin through the division.
The team that finishes second in that division, the Dallas Cowboys.
You think the Dallas Cowboys are
the
coming
Dallas
to MetLife?
Cowboys are going on the road to MetLife, and they're going to lose. But you get blown out by the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round.
So I'm going to disagree. I think the New York Football Giants are the only team that finishes above 500 in the NFC East.
Okay, gotcha. So the Cowboys don't sign Max Crosby.
They're not going to get Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby ends up staying with the Raiders, which makes my AFC position a little bit funky.
Okay, we haven't gotten to AFC.
Right, but I actually don't think the Cowboys finished second.
You don't think the Cowboys finish second? Who do you have second?
I think the Eagles scraped their way to a second place finish. And they're also going to finish a little 8-9. I think the Cowboys are going to finish 7-10 again.
Okay.
And I think the Commanders are
not attached.
Jane Daniels gets another injury, and I think they're done.
I think the Commanders are done. They need a full rebuild, although they might end up keeping Jane Daniels,
which is a damn shame because Jane Daniels is a very solid quarterback, and I wish him very, very much success.
Jane Daniels,
just not in Washington D.C.
Let's talk about the AFC East, a division that you also hate.
Oh, so we're just jumping around here.
I mean,
there's no structure, there's no order. We still have half the NFC field to clear out.
Oh, we're gonna finish with the NFC.
Yeah, let's finish with the NFC here.
Yeah, whatever. All right. NFC West.
NFC
Rams
West
are taking it.
I think the Rams are the best team in the league.
This is Matt Stafford's year. I think the Seahawks, they regress a little bit. They still make the playoffs. But I mean, they've lost the running back. I think they're going to play, the top seed from every division. They're going to play. I'm trying to think who they play in the AFC. Can't remember. Look it up later.
Actually, the AFC East.
Okay, so which doesn't bode well for my New England Patriots. I think they're going to regress a little bit too, unfortunately.
So, we love clam chowder, right?
We love clam chowder. We love Sam Adams too.
San Francisco does a neat little trick with clam chowder.
Yeah.
They put it in a bread bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to eat the bread bowl.
Okay.
I think the 49ers finish in second in that division.
49ers in second.
I think the Seahawks fall down to third and miss the playoffs.
Ooh. So that's a pretty big fall off.
I don't think they're going to fall off as in be a not good team. I still think they're going to be terrible. I still think they're going to be like 9-8.
But that's very unusual. I think the last Super Bowl winner to miss the playoffs was actually from that division. That was the Rams.
Yeah, and that was very extreme circumstances.
That was extreme. However, the Rams sacrificed all their number one picks for a decade.
I think Sam Darnold,
Stafford was hurt,
falls back down to earth a little bit.
So the Patriots go back to the drawing board and they take them off 4 times, right? And that game cost them the playoffs. I can see it now.
Anyway, that's not what I was going. I still think they beat the Patriots this year because that game's in Seattle.
Typically, Super Bowl rematches and end up in the team that wins.
And actually, they don't play the entire NFC North. They just play who they play in the division. So they'll only play the Patriots.
AFC East?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, to the AFC North.
Did we finish with the NFC? South, North?
Yeah, NFC North.
We didn't do North. Yeah.
NFC North. I think this is going to be the most competitive division.
I think it will be too.
And I think they're going to have 3 playoff teams in it.
Okay.
And I think those teams, we said it last time, I'm not changing anything because I don't think any of it should change. Yes, the Packers lost Romeo Doubs. I don't think that's going to matter because Romeo Doubs, very up and down receiver for the Packers with their scheme. The Lions are going to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Bears going to finish in second. Packers finish in third. And I think the Vikings are done.
No quarterback.
No quarterback. They might go get Kyler Murray.
Even if they do get Kyler Murray, I think the Vikings are going to have to take the L. You lose Sam Darnold.
And you got
6
wins. Games against really good teams.
You got JJ McCarthy who's done nothing. I just don't think that they have the firepower to compete in that division.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Even to go 9-8, because that division was very competitive. I think the Packers are going to miss the playoffs. Kind of surprised they made it last season.
I'm not surprised they made it last season because they still have the best defender in football.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. No, wait. What's his name? Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons, yes. I still think he's the best defensive player in football.
So he comes back healthy, and they get right back into the division.
I don't think they get right back into the division. I think they have a step back from where they were last year.
Okay, so if you have a step back from where you were last year, where they weren't
in terms of
they won 9 games.
Talent, I think the results are going to stay the same.
They won 9 games.
I think they're going to do that again and make the playoffs.
In the NFC, when you got, I'm thinking 3 teams from the NFC West. So that takes,
and I think that's where
big. And here's where the NFC North comes into. Cowboys are going to have the 2nd seed in the NFC East, so they're going to bump for only having 1 team from the NFC North make the playoffs, and that is the Bears.
Really?
The Bears.
I like the Bears, but I think the Lions with their 4th place schedule.
They finished 4th in that.
They finished 4th in that division.
I forgot about that, which is mind blowing because
their 4th place schedule.
They were actually a pretty good team.
I think they're gonna win a lot of games that they should have won last year that they didn't.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna take that division. I like the Bears. I think the Bears, and I think honestly, talent wise, I think the Bears are the best team in the NFC outside of the Rams.
I don't think that. I mean, they fired their offensive coordinator, hired a new guy. We'll see how that works out. Dan Campbell is a culture builder, but I think he needs help maybe on the offensive side of the ball because the offense on the regression on offense was huge. I mean, you go from winning 15 games and then some questionable play calling, they lose the divisional round and then they win 9 games. They just last in the division. So I am not sold on the Lions post Ben Johnson. I don't think Dan Campbell goes anywhere.
I saw the vision last year. I know they finished 9-8, but they also had one of the hardest schedules in football.
They did. That's fair.
And they weren't exactly super healthy.
Obviously.
They were better than their record. They weren't a very healthy team.
Yeah,
I think both of those get fixed this year, and I think they're right back to where they were 2 years ago.
15-2,
maybe a little bit worse. I think 13-4.
Okay, that's not a bad take. The Lions I like better than the Packers and definitely better than the Vikings, but I think there's only so many mouths to feed. But I am going to go Cowboys. Do a wild card and they lose to your Giants, which I figured you'd be very happy about. But the NFC is really good no matter which way you go, and I think it's going to come down. 3 teams from the NFC North. I could see 3 teams from the West. Potentially 2 teams from the NFC East, but we'll see.
I think it's going to come down to the Bears and Rams in the NFC Championship game.
Bears-Rams.
Ooh.
Okay, gotcha. I like that take.
Because I think
the Lions win division and then they get skunked by the Bears at some point.
I think all 3 wild card teams on the road win.
That's a wild take. All right.
Which I know I predicted last year, but I think all 3 wild card teams win on the road. I think the Bears are going to host the 49ers for a divisional round matchup.
Nice. Wild card teams did do very well, but that's not really typical. Usually home teams dominate.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because Packers and the Lions, there's a lot of juju. I know it's been shifting recently.
Yeah.
But there's still a bad juju in Detroit about the Packers. I think they take advantage of that, and I think Jordan Love gets a little bit of gets a fluke shot in.
I think the Packers have finally peaked as a franchise. You really can't find a team that's been better over the last 60 years. You've had 3 all-time greats quarterbacks. You've had Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. You've won 4 Lombardi trophies in, what is it? What was it before the Super Bowl era?
It's just the NFL championship.
Yeah, the NFL championships before that.
Respect 8-time champion New York Football Giants.
How many MVPs have they had? 7?
I think so.
7 MVPs. They're top 3 in playoff wins all time. Great franchise. But you can't just keep going back to that every year. And I think they get held back a little bit. Also, Michael LaFleur. We're not completely sure about Michael LaFleur.
Not completely. I think, honestly, the
worst of the McVay coaching tree, actually.
The gauntlet you laid down for the Buccaneers is the gauntlet I'm going to lay down for the Packers.
Okay.
I think it's a lot more realistic because I think the Packers are much more talented than the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I think NFC Championship or bust for the Green Bay Packers. And I think they're going to bust.
Oh, I think so too.
And I think LaFleur is gone. And I think LaFleur is going to find a very, very good job in Minnesota next year.
Ooh, okay. I like that take. But let's move on to the AFC.
But I know you're chomping at the bit for the NFC, for the AFC.
I want to talk about the AFC because there's a lot of good teams here too. Let's start with.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with your guy, Patrick Mahomes.
Before you start, did you enjoy your vacation?
I did.
Did you have a nice little trip to San Francisco?
I did not go to San Francisco, but
you had a nice little vacation.
I had a nice little vacation.
You had a nice little break.
Yeah.
Break's over. Patrick Mahomes is back. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are winning the AFC West, and they're winning the AFC West with conviction.
Okay. So
with conviction.
They're coming back with firepower.
They're coming back with firepower because
I know you would love to see that because you love Patrick Mahomes.
They picked up Kenneth Walker.
That was a great acquisition.
And I told you were saying, you were waving the white flag. You were declaring the Chiefs dead. You said the dynasty's over.
I think the dynasty is over, but I didn't declare them dead. Big difference.
And I'm going to quote a college football guy. Not so fast, my friend.
All right.
Kansas City's back. Kansas City's getting right back on the horse. They're going to take back the AFC West, which is going to be a very hard task because I think all 4 AFC West teams are going to be scary next year. I don't think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs.
They'll make some noise.
I think they're going to make some noise.
All right. So I'm going to adjust my prediction a little bit because the Chargers, who have unlimited money, have done nothing in free agency, which is kind of shocking to me. No moves. Now, they did get Mike McDaniel, which is a great upgrade for the offensive coach.
Absolutely. That's a great upgrade for the offensive
But I can't name one major receiver. I think they upgraded some of their offensive line, which was the biggest problem of the team. But they're going to regress on defense. Jesse Minter's gone. So the Chargers are not going to be able – I don't think they're going to get it done. But this is the year of the horse, my friend.
Oh.
This is the year of the horse.
Are we switching takes here?
So we're switching takes. We're gonna sell San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles,
Chargers,
whatever they are. We're gonna buy Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. So Bo Nix had a kid in the offseason.
He did.
And Bo Nix is coming back healthy.
Which congratulations, by the way, Bo.
And I think congratulations, Bo. And how much money, because money does matter. You can only manipulate the cap so much before it just catches up with you. So the Broncos are going to go all in on the Super Bowl again this year. They're going to get better, and not better in terms of record. They go 13-4.
I'm afraid
they get better as a team. They get better as a team. Bo Nix wins 3 playoff games and takes them to the Super Bowl.
I'm afraid I have some bad news. The Broncos did not go all in.
The Broncos did not go all in last year.
They did the second.
They are this year.
They did the second best. No, they didn't go all in this year either.
I think they're going to go all in.
They did the second best thing, and that's they maintained what they had.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't lose anything. They didn't go pick up anybody flashy. They didn't lose anything. I think the Broncos are still going to finish second in that division. But I think with as good as the offseason the Kansas City Chiefs have had, I think they're taking it back. They're taking back their crown. They're taking back their division. And they're going to, I think, you know what? They're taking back their conference.
I think it's too soon for the Kansas City Chiefs to climb back that quick. Now, I think Patrick Mahomes ends up getting 4 Super Bowls, but this is the year of the horse. Bo Nix wins the Super Bowl in his 3rd year as a starting quarterback.
Whoa!
Bo Nix is winning the Super Bowl.
And here we thought I was the believer. The real believer was right in front of us the whole time,
I'm
folks.
a believer, and I think Bo Nix is going to get it done this year. For the viewers, I bought a new Ford Bronco. I actually bought a share in a race horse. So if he makes the Kentucky Derby, we're going.
Oh, right? Well, maybe not.
We'll do a special podcast.
My work schedule looks pretty swamped in that month.
In 2027?
Oh, 2027. Okay, never mind.
Wide open. All right. Yeah, this is the year of the horse, and that's why I'm going with the Denver Broncos as my Super Bowl pick. Now, the Chiefs do get back in, but they finish second in the division. They go on the road and win a wild card game against a team that we'll talk about soon.
Okay.
All right. So.
All right, where do you want to go?
All right, let's go AFC North because
North.
We have to talk about our friend Joe Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow survived a very, very nasty scare.
He survived.
But he survived a very nasty scare. Unfortunately, it cost him his best defensive guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll matter.
Maybe not.
I think they're going to scrape and they're going to claw their way back to a division title. I think the Ravens lost simply too much this offseason.
They did lose a lot.
I think they simply lost too much. I've been looking at
the defections in free agency, and
everybody jumped ship.
Yeah, because of John Harbaugh leaving.
Yep, everybody jumped ship and scattered to the winds. And I think the Bengals are the team that lost the least this offseason, which is never a good place to be if you're a division. But they lost the least this offseason. And I think they're going to use that loss the least, get a good, healthy season out of Joe Burrow, and scrape their way into the playoffs. I think the mystique behind the Steelers, who have been another franchise that's been successful for the last 60 years with 3 Hall of Fame head coaches, I think they're done.
Yes, I agree. I think the Steelers are done. Aaron Rodgers was like a swan song. Mike McCarthy is not the answer.
Now, there is one saving grace for the Steelers.
DJ Watt.
And we teased it earlier. We didn't follow up on it.
I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's Mac Jones.
It's Mac Jones. If they can find a way to get Mac Jones into a Steelers uniform, maybe we're singing a different song here. Because Mike McCarthy can make a guy like Mac Jones work. And Absolutely. They did pick up Michael Pittman. The problem with the Steelers is a similar problem that the Falcons have.
Lost Kenneth Gainwell to Buccaneers.
Oh well,
not a.
I don't think our Yins or friends are going to be losing much sleep over that now. But the Steelers have a similar problem that do our friends down in Atlanta. They don't really have a stable quarterback situation. If they can find themselves a stable quarterback situation,
do damage with Mike.
I think Mac Jones and Mike McCarthy can make a little bit of noise in the AFC North.
But we can both agree AFC North has peaked. It's regressing, right?
It's
got any division that has a team like the Cleveland Browns on it.
There's 3 teams that can go out there and reach up for a division title,
and I think the NFC.
And I think they're all falling at the same rate.
Yeah, but I think the Bengals probably have about the best situation.
Well, I think so.
Stable head coach, great quarterback if he can stay healthy.
I think it's stable in spite of themselves, but yes.
Yeah. Let's see how the Ravens do. But if they're winning that division and I have a Kansas City Chiefs winning a road game,
you have them going down to Cincinnati.
They go to Cincy and they eat Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals for lunch.
You know how you and I we stepped into the portal, we came out different people.
Yeah.
This is where we swapped here because I think Bo Nix goes into Cincinnati and gets a big playoff win.
Okay, interesting. I like that. I could see that happening, except I have the Broncos winning division. They will repeat. That's my prediction.
I think we have the same prediction. I think
Yeah.
we have the different divisional winners. I think we have the second place in the AFC West going into Cincinnati and winning that game.
Yeah.
That 4-5 game that's probably going to be a Monday night.
All right, let's move on from the AFC North. Let's talk about the AFC South, and then we'll finish up with the Patriots.
There's two teams that made a lot of big splashes into a can of tomato soup.
Yeah.
And those are the Colts with their big Danny Millions signing, which I don't agree with, and I think they got worse. Not necessarily because of that signing, but in general, they got worse.
The Colts were an anomaly. Let's call it what it is. They went 8-1, and then they lost 8 games, 8 straight, including with the Hall of Famer who was fresh off the couch, to be fair.
And I think starting opening day next year will be their best option at quarterback.
Yeah, so they double down on Danny Dimes, and that doesn't work out for them because he remembers that he's Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I don't think he's the answer, but I think a team like the Colts, aggressive ownership, they're doubling down because they want to go to a Super Bowl. It's not happening, but it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. It's just not going to work.
There's another team that
let's say the Colts, do they finish 3rd or 4th in their division?
I think they finish in 4th. But I think they finished behind another team that fell into the tomato soup.
Okay.
And that was the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Tomato soup because they got Brian Daboll.
It's not that they got Brian Daboll. I think picking up Brian Daboll as an offensive coordinator is a great move.
As an offensive coordinator, yeah. And I think Robert Saleh
it's the fact they decided
is good.
I think it's the fact they decided to pay Wan'Dale Robinson all that money, Cordell Flatt all that money. They decided to bring the New York Giants with them. That's the tomato soup. I don't know what the AFC South saw in the New York Giants that went 4-13 and 3-14 the year before that. Like you guys do know that the Giants were not good the last couple of years, right?
Yeah,
Why do you want their players? Like, I don't understand it. But I think that Brian Daboll is going to develop Cam Ward and do not a great quarterback, but a solid quarterback, and I think they're going to get into 3rd place.
Yeah,
which leaves us.
So we got Colts finishing last, and then they have to go into a full rebuild.
Yep,
because Daniel Jones can't start 6 games. Yeah, the Titans 3rd. So this one gets interesting. Let's talk about a team that no one talked about all years and then made a 1st-round exit against Josh Allen and Jacksonville Jaguars. How do we feel about the Jaguars repeating as divisional champs?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it because they lost Travis Etienne.
They did.
They lost Travis Etienne. He went to the Saints, which is a great pickup of the Saints. We never actually mentioned that for some reason.
It's all right. The Saints are winning an 8-9 division.
Yeah. But even with Travis Etienne, I don't think it moved the needle, but I think it was a great move. I think this is another one of those divisions where the Texans just sat on their hands, and I think they're going to win the division.
I, oddly enough, think that they do win division, even with C.J. Stroud somehow, because their defense is just amazing. And the rest of the division is pretty weak. I think the Jaguars could be good, but I'm like, I don't get Liam Cohen. So goes to the Bucs, brilliant offensive coordinator. Goes to the Jaguars, brilliant offensive coordinator. But then you have 2 kind of flat appearances in the playoff. So I'm like, I don't know if that's so much on him as like a head coach, or he just maybe hasn't been in it long enough to win one. But it's just like, it's weird. He's the hot offensive coordinator. But I'm like, okay, how long is he going to go repeat again with Trevor Lawrence, who's, not great in the playoffs?
I'm going to come to the defense of Liam Cohen here. I don't think
he's
that lost this offseason to the Bills. That's one bad throw. I don't think Trevor Lawrence. On him. They're one bad throw away from Trevor Lawrence from beating the Bills.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence made a bad throw. So I'm like,
terrible throw.
I'm not completely sold on like Trevor Lawrence is that guy.
No.
Know? And I'm like, C.J. Stroud is worse, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence is so much better than it's like.
But I think I think the Texans' defense is better
Texas defense is definitely better.
And I think that's good enough to get the Texans the division.
Yep. First round playoff exit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because
I think
somebody eats CJ Stroud alive. And I'll save who that is.
You know what? I think you and I might be on the same path. If what you've been trumpeting is what you're going to predict.
All right. So are we done with the AFC South?
I think we're done with the AFC South. We don't really have much there.
Let's talk about the AFC East. Home to the New England Patriots, the New Jersey Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills.
All right, I'm gonna let you spit here.
Patriots are winning division.
So
Romeo Doubs, they get a hold of AJ Brown. They shore up the offensive line in the draft, and defense doesn't have any significant holes that they need to worry about. So they get a little bit better on the offensive line, a little bit better at wide receiver. And even with one of the toughest schedules in football, that is enough to win division. And I'm going to tell you why. The Bills have peaked. Every team that has made the playoffs 6 straight years has won a Super Bowl, except the Buffalo Bills. They promoted a guy who's been on the staff for years. You already know what you have. And I don't think that they're going to improve. I think they regress, and they lose the division on a tiebreaker to the New England Patriots. Joe Brady is not the guy.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think the Patriots win the division, even if they pick up A.J. Brown.
All right.
And here's why. A.J. Brown is not as good as as advertised. There's a solid reason why the Eagles haven't traded him yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that they're not getting nothing for him until after June 1st when his cap hit goes way down.
Yeah.
I think A.J. Brown is at the end of his peak. And I think the Patriots are just replacing Stephon Diggs with a slightly better Stephon Diggs.
Okay. Which is not bad.
And it's better than what the Bills did.
Also, I'm not a huge Stephon Diggs fan. I'm the Patriots guy. I thought he was good. And he had a good season.
Yes.
But I don't see him as being an elite wide receiver. And also the offseason drama was real at the end, and it was surfacing rapidly. When you bring your baby mama to the Super Bowl and then stand up Cardi B at a party she spent $8 million on, all of this going on while he's got serious allegations, not convicted yet of anything. But I'm like, that's just a little bit more offseason or playoff drama than I want. It's I don't want any of that drama, but do I think it's a factor in why the Patriots lost the Super Bowl? Probably not. They're not winning that game. But it factors in. It's another thing, and it's when you watch the documentaries in 15, 20 years about the third part of the dynasty, actually. We're going to look into the Patriots' 12th Super Bowl appearance, and they're going to talk about the Stephon Diggs drama. That's my take. So Romeo Doubs is better, I think, at this point in his career than Stephon Diggs. And even if they don't get A.J. Brown, I think they're already a little bit better at wide receiver.
Nobody remembers the 90s Steelers.
I was barely cognizant then. You weren't even born. Right,
but nobody talks about the 90s Steelers.
No, they made, 2 Super Bowls? 1 Super Bowl?
They made 2 Super Bowls.
Okay.
I think. Wasn't 1 or 2. They made at least 1 Super Bowl. And for good reason. Because it didn't matter. Just like the Patriots, this generation of the Patriots don't matter.
Well,
they don't. They're not the best team in the AFC.
They weren't this year. I don't think they're going to be next year. I'm still not
convinced they're the best team in the AFC East.
They are the best team in the AFC East.
I think that Josh Allen is going to have a fire under him.
Okay.
And I think that fire is going to lead the Bills
to the playoffs,
back to the AFC Championship, where they lose to the Chiefs again.
No,
winning the AFC East.
Oh my God!
When I asked you if you enjoyed your vacation, I didn't mean if you enjoyed your literal vacation you took.
You like my vacation from you.
Your vacation from the Chiefs and Bills song and dance we've been having for the last 5 years, because it's back and we're doing it again.
The Chiefs are better than the Bills.
Yes, they are better than the Bills.
But
That's why
in
they're
my
going to win
play-
that game.
In my playoff scenario, they're not facing them. I don't think they face each other this year either.
They do.
The Chiefs face the Bills?
Yes, that game's in Buffalo.
Oh, that's right, because they play at the ocean. My bad.
Week 1 Sunday night. Watch.
Yes.
Brand
So
new
the
stadium.
Chiefs face the Bills, and the Chiefs upset the Bills in their brand new stadium. And
I don't think that's
Joe
happening.
Brady is lost as a head coach. Defense can't get a stop, and Mahomes has an epic comeback. However, it's not Mahomes' year, and they don't get a rematch like we've seen in most of the postseason games.
I think we're gonna play the song and dance again.
What's his name?
We're gonna get
Allen
Josh Allen finally triumphant against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City
It's not
Chiefs
going to happen.
in the regular season.
It's not
and
going to
then-
happen.
Patrick Mahomes comes back, steals the 1 seed from the Bills, who fumble week 18 against the Patriots in Foxborough. We're in a little schedule prediction. Little week 18 fumble in Foxborough. It doesn't cost him the division because he already had the division wrapped up a month ago.
That's disrespectful. But let's let it ride.
But the reason why the Patriots are in the situation they're in is because they have a hot December. But it's not enough to get the Patriots into the playoffs.
Okay. You're wrong, and you're going to see. And you know what? If it happens, it happens. But anyway, low stakes. You still owe me a jersey.
I do, actually.
White,
So
medium-sized Christian Gonzalez.
I gotta figure out the problem with Fanatics. I think they might have a backup, but I didn't see anything.
I don't think anything's in stock for a while because I actually checked the dates. I think March 30th was the earliest I saw.
Okay.
So it'll be a late birthday present.
So when
It's my birthday next week, by the way.
Yes, happy birthday. Unfortunately, I will be out of town for your birthday.
That's okay. I wasn't going to invite you.
Right, I wasn't.
Anyway, so let's talk. So, do you think Josh Allen has a pressure issue? Like, really good enough? I mean, he's easily one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time. Kind of like early Peyton Manning
I think he's.
before he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen could still get it done, but I don't think he gets it done with Joe Brady.
I don't think he's necessarily a quarterback that folds under pressure.
I think.
I
he
think
is.
in Denver last year is the first example of him having a really bad playoff game.
What about, okay, so the opening drive of the 2024 AFC Championship.
The opening drive.
What does Josh Allen do on
The
the first play of the game?
that is the opening drive. What
On
was the result of
first
that
play
game?
He lost.
And by how much?
I think it was what? 3 points?
Who had the ball last?
Ooh, I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen's problem isn't necessarily that he's a bad quarterback. It's that he's snake bitten.
I don't think he's snake bitten.
I think he's snake bitten.
I think he has a little bit of a pressure problem because on the opening drive of the Kansas City Chiefs game, he almost threw an interception, and Chiefs defender dropped it. And then I think he either fumbled or almost threw another interception on the same drive 2 plays later. So Josh Allen, and that was at Arrowhead. He has a pressure problem. It came up in Denver when he fumbled the ball on 2 straight possessions. Didn't need to. Now, granted, the last one you can almost throw out because he was running around on a broken foot and he was really banged up. But still, he has a pressure problem.
Actually, I did make a mistake. I only have 6 AFC playoff teams. So I'm going to retract my Patriots don't make the playoffs. And the Patriots use that Week 18 game to win and make the playoffs.
Okay.
Over the Jaguars.
All right. Think about that.
And then they get sent to Buffalo next week, and Josh Allen punishes Drake May for his sins.
Drake May is a Christian, but he has sinned. But nothing egregious that we know of. Not yet.
Well, the sin of beating Josh Allen in Week 18.
Sin, that's not a sin. That's a favor.
It's in the
rest
Bible.
It's not. It's not in the Bible.
Well, you and I read different Bibles, so it's fine.
You read the Catholic.
I have like a couple extra books in my Bible.
All right. But I'm not changing my prediction. Patriots win Bills missed the playoffs.
I think we get a little tantalizing.
The Pagula family immediately fires Joe Brady. The experiment doesn't work out, and they go back to Sean McDermott.
That's a silly move.
It's a silly move, but they realized they were wrong. I don't think that's actually going to happen, by the way, for the record. But I don't think Joe Brady works out in Buffalo. And I think that to win a Super Bowl, because I believe Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl, he goes to a different team.
I don't disagree with that.
As a free agent.
I think he's going to have a John. Actually, we're giving Josh Allen a lot of comparisons, and I don't think we're comparing him to the right quarterback.
Who would you compare it to?
And I'm actually going to take a step back. I don't think he leaves the Bills. However, I think the Bills are going to wander.
His entire career with the Bills?
I think he does. Because I think we're going to compare him to a quarterback.
John Elway.
John Elway.
I knew it. It's fitting. It's the year of the horse.
It is the year of the horse, but I'm going against the horse. I'm going to turn my back on the horse.
All right. You're going to go with the...
And I'm going to go with the rider of the horse. Because, as you know, the AFC West,
yes,
they have a lot of horse mascots.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Broncos. The Chargers are a horse mascot, technically. And then there's one team that has a horse that is ridden into the stadium. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, the Broncos ride a horse in the stadium, too.
Yes, but the horse is the mascot. The cowgirl on the horse.
I feel like I've never actually seen the Chiefs ride a horse in the stadium.
I'm pretty sure they do. At least they used to.
I don't know if they still do anymore. Because I've watched a lot of Chiefs games in the last 7 or 8 years. And I'm like, I've never seen.
Maybe they stopped doing it. But
don't they have the wolf as their mascot?
No, that is a criminal super fan that is not attached to the team at all.
All right. Criminal super fan in the form of the wolf.
Yeah, Casey Wolf was a bank robber.
Okay.
Which honestly, if you don't know the full story behind it, it kind of sounds like a Wild West.
Yeah.
Like Casey Wolf.
Right. Kansas City Chiefs it's kind of criminal that they're not actually, in my mind, far enough west to be like a Wild West team. That's the Broncos. Maybe not so much recently, because I think Colorado Springs, or at least Colorado, is a little soft in terms of its Western heritage. I think it's more in
because like the original
Wyoming, Montana.
The original Wild West was going through Kansas. You go through all these Wild West stories, and most of these take place in Kansas.
But what is it now? Giant Dust Bowl, high winds and hail.
It's a sunflower field.
Yeah,
but that's not the point. The point is rising from the sunflowers, from the ashes, is Patrick Mahomes. And he's going to have a comeback season. He's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Here's a guy.
He's winning Comeback Player of the Year. He's throwing for 4,800 yards, 39 touchdowns. But he's just not quite good enough to get the
Now, here's a guy who's going to get the 1 seed, and he's going to win the AFC. And then in Matt Stafford's final act, he's going to lose another Super Bowl.
Matt Stafford loses the Super Bowl.
No, Patrick Mahomes is going to lose the Super Bowl.
No, Matt Stafford loses the Super Bowl, but it's the Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos.
Hold on. My friend, you keep calling it the year of the horse. Is the next Super Bowl actually in the year of the horse?
It's in SoFi.
Yes, but I'm not talking about where is it. I'm talking about, is it before or after the Chinese New Year?
All right. Okay. Let's look that up. That's a good question.
Here. Can you look it up on your phone? I don't know. For some reason, my phone's not working.
Let's look up how long is the year.
Just look up Chinese New Year 2027. Because the Super Bowl does fall on a very special day next year. It falls on Valentine's Day. I told him that if the Giants are in the Super Bo, we're going. And she said we're not.
Okay, so it does fall
on Saturday, it just squeaks in.
6th. But
squeaks in.
Bo Nix continues to ride the power of the horse, and he still wins the Super Bowl.
The year of the horse is over. What is
doesn't matter. Oh, Animal Sign, Fire Goat. I see where you're saying. Bo Nix will be so powerful in year 3 that he will go to SoFi.
What's that second word say? Go or
The Fire Goat or Ram.
Ram.
Does not
So
matter.
you're leaning in on this year of the horse, and yet the Super Bowl will not be taking place in the year of the horse. It will be taking place in the year of the Ram, and it will be taking place in whose house?
SoFi.
Rams' house.
SoFi Bowl. I still think that the Rams, team that is not prone to upsets in Super Bowls, as you know, gets upset in SoFi on their home turf, and Matt Stafford is not enough to save the Rams. It's Bo Nix time.
I think it's Matthew Stafford in the year of the Ram takes out the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is not the GOAT. That would be Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. And you know that.
He's got about 4 more years left of that.
So even if Mahomes wins 7, Tom Brady still has the tiebreaker.
But let's be honest here.
So if
we're gonna go back into
Mahomes wins 8 Super Bowls, then he is the GOAT. There's no argument to be made. But until he wins 8, he is not the GOAT.
So your other sports you watch. One of those
I
happened
don't
to
watch
basketball.
other sports.
You said earlier in the podcast you did.
I mean, like once a year, maybe.
So you know basketball, at least
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Who is the
LeBron
GOAT?
James.
Patrick Mahomes or not Patrick
It's
Mahomes?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan, easily.
For what?
He won 6.
You know who's won more than that?
Who?
Bill Russell. He won 11. Is
I've
Bill
never
Russell
heard-
the GOAT?
I've never heard. of Bill Russell.
Exactly. Ring counts don't matter. LeBron James is better statistically in every category
So
than
7
Michael Jordan.
Super Bowl wins don't matter.
If Patrick Mahomes can pass Tom Brady in every statistical category except for rings,
Then
I'm willing to
he's the second
concede.
best quarterback. of
I'm
all
willing to
time.
concede that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT, despite the fact he has less rings. Now,
If you love Patrick Mahomes,
if
you'd
Patrick
be happy
Mahomes-
to concede it.
if Patrick Mahomes does not pass Tom Brady in every statistical category, which is going to be harder than LeBron passing Jordan.
So honestly, I think that Patrick Mahomes may pass Tom Brady in almost every statistical category, especially if the NFL goes to a 19-week season. However, he will need to win 8 Super Bowls to pass Brady as the GOAT. Even if he ties him, Brady has the tiebreaker. That's
I don't think he
lot to do.
necessarily needs 8 Super
How old
Bowls.
is Andy Reid?
70s?
Andy Reid's getting up there. I don't think he's 70 yet, but he's not gonna coach. Maybe he can coach for another 10 years, but I'm like, we saw how Bill Belichick got into his 70s, and I'm like, even the great Andy Reid is vulnerable to age.
I don't think Andy Reid will be the coach for all the Super Bowl. If Patrick Mahomes ends up passing Tom Brady, I don't think he'll be the coach for all those Super Bowls.
Okay,
I think there will be a next coach behind Andy Reid. I think Patrick Mahomes will continue to be Patrick Mahomes, and especially one factor for the Chiefs that we did not talk about. Patrick Mahomes got his guy back.
Travis Kelce.
No, Eric Bieniemy.
Ooh, Eric Bieniemy is pretty good.
Patrick Mahomes got Eric Bieniemy back. We are back on the timeline where Eric Bieniemy waits his turn and takes his rightful place as the heir to the Andy Reid legacy.
Eric Bieniemy is not the guru though. He's good, but I think he's the student, not the teacher. Andy Reid is the teacher. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They won 2 Super Bowls after Eric Bieniemy left.
They won 1 Super Bowl after that.
Okay, and they made another one.
They did make another one. They lost that one very badly.
But do you think Eric Bieniemy is the reason they made those games?
I
don't.
But I do believe that Eric Bieniemy was brought out the best in Patrick Mahomes.
I think that he's like a Josh McDaniels, very good at his position, not necessarily a head coach.
Well, you know who McDaniels did not coach?
He did not coach Patrick Mahomes.
He didn't. No, I'm saying he didn't coach Tom Brady. He didn't coach the Patriots offense. He didn't coach the Patriots. He was never the head coach of the Patriots.
No, of course not. But
I'm saying Eric Bieniemy is going to eventually become the Chiefs head coach.
Okay.
And I think that's the difference
So
between
the
him and
succession
McDaniels.
plan, and then Eric Bieniemy is able to get Patrick Mahomes how many Super Bowls?
I don't know.
I don't see it. I think Patrick Mahomes wins number 4.
I think 6, 7.
I think Patrick Mahomes definitely wins one more. I think he wins number 4. Andy Reid retires. Kelce's. I don't know how long Kelsey's going to play.
I think he's got one more.
He had a decent season last year, but he
I
also
think this
had
is
a
it.
couple key fumbles. I'm like, how long can you really ride the Kelsey train?
We have
Before he
somebody.
becomes a liability.
I think
They've got criminals for their wide receiving core. At least one. Did they release
But
Rashee Rice yet?
But they fixed the biggest problem they had.
Patrick Mahomes being injured? Oh, their offensive line.
No.
Their
They-
offensive line was definitely their biggest problem last year.
They got a Super Bowl MVP at the running back now.
Yes, they do.
They picked up, and now mind you, I am always against paying the running back.
Mhm.
Never pay the running back.
Yep.
But I think in this case, Kenneth Walker is a great pickup for the Chiefs,
I think he is great.
especially for this year. He's a great pickup for the
But
Chiefs.
you also predicted the Chiefs would win the Green Bay Packers Chiefs Super Bowl last year.
I did. I'm not going
What
for it.
happened?
It didn't.
You cursed Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't curse Patrick Mahomes.
You cursed him.
I cursed Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah. So, great job. So, the Chiefs have already lost the Super Bowl
So I
Because
already
you-
have the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl.
to the Rams.
The
right?
Rams, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it's the year of the GOAT or whatever.
So wrapping up, because we've been at this for a while.
we have been 2 hours. I mean,
We are
we're
at 2
gonna
hours.
run
We've
out
been
of
having a great
time
show.
before we
We're
run
having
out
a
of
great
topics.
show.
Hope
Uh,
you enjoyed it, by the way.
We're going to finish up your official Super Bowl predictions as of today, March 11th.
Yep.
Is the Broncos over the Rams,
Broncos over Rams.
and I have the Rams over the Chiefs.
So we both have the Rams in the Super Bowl, interestingly enough.
We are going to see if the year of the Bronco or the year of the horse lasts for a couple more days, or if we jump right into the GOAT Ram year.
Well, we got to get into time changes because if the new year starts in China on the 6th, then the Earth is going to make another revolution before the year of the horse ends. So it's going to be a tight game.
It's going to be tight.
I'm predicting a very
It's
tight
going to
game.
be tight. We're going to see if the GOAT Ram with Patrick Mahomes versus the Rams, or if it's going to be the year of the horse and all of our believers out there get a Broncos Super Bowl.
Drake May has to wait till year 4.
I got one prediction you're not going to disagree with.
Okay.
We're going to be in for a hell of a season.
I think we're going to be in for a hell of a season for sure. We got to go to a game too.
We do have to go to a game. So, but we'll figure that out more once the schedule comes out. But for right now, it's been a great show. Let's get out of here.
Don't have a great night.
Have an American
Have
night.
an American night. And thanks for stopping by.